So thank you for that kind introduction. I appreciate your kind words. And thank you for your warm welcome, your hospitality. I want to express my deep appreciation to Khurram Shahzad for inviting me to speak on this occasion. I also like to take this opportunity to recognize my good friend DCM and also the Ambassador Akbar Ahmed. I know we do not agree because on all the policies and politics that divides us, but there are a lot that unite us with Sanjit as well. Thank you for being here. Let's give them a big round of applause to the DCM, to all the people. It is my pleasure to speak with you members of the Pakistani American Press Association tonight. I'm honored to be here tonight, although I'm not in nor of the press, I am for the press. And I've seen since coming to the United States from India to go to school to study computer science at the University of Colorado in Boulder. There are many things that amazed me in my early days in this country. But one of the things that truly stuck out for me was the freedom of press. The journalist and the reporter's ability to listen, to watch, to observe, to investigate, and to write about anything was a wonderment to me. I saw the ability to speak to the power as a defining hallmark of this great democracy. At that time, I did not know that capacity existed. Later in my life, as I studied and learned more, I have come to understand the source of this freedom of press comes from the American Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the wisdom of our founding fathers. Thomas Jefferson was one of those founding fathers and third president of the United States. In 1787, the year the Constitution was adopted in Philadelphia, Jefferson wrote, and I quote, "The basis of our government being the opinion of the people, the very first object should be to keep that right. Were it left to me to decide whether we should have a government without the newspaper, a newspaper without a government, I should say I would not hesitate a moment to prefer the latter." Think about that. Jefferson elevated the need for free press above the need for government. The opinion was not atypical after the Constitution was drafted. Many citizens feared that the Constitution gave too much power to a central government and might lead to tyrannical rule. So they demanded the addition for a Bill of Rights in order to get the Constitution ratified by the states. James Madison, another founding father, drafted the Bill of Rights, which has a 10th amendment. The First Amendment of the Bill of Rights reads as follows: Congress shall make no law respecting establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. What makes this statement unique as it relates to the freedom of press is that it is an unqualified right. Congress shall make no law abiding freedom of speech or of the press. This is why the press and the media in the United States have such a powerful platform upon which to stand. Let me contrast to what the Constitution of Pakistan says about the freedom of speech and the press. Article 19 of the Pakistan Constitution states, "Every citizen shall have the right to freedom of speech and expression, and there shall be freedom of press, subject to any reasonable restriction imposed by law in the interest of the glory of Islam, or the integrity, security, or defense of Pakistan, or any part thereof, friendly relations with foreign states, public order, decency, or morality, in relation to the contempt of court of incitement to an offense." Wow, that's a mouthful. More importantly, it is a very restricted right. It is almost like saying you have this right, but with your mouth taped shut and your hands cuffed behind your back. That is why the Freedom House, the organization that looks at freedom of press around the world, raised the freedom of press in Pakistan as not free. In the executive summary for the 2017 reports of the year 2016, Freedom House makes the following reasons for its assessment. Restrictive laws, including one penalizing defamation, threats directed at journalists from a variety of actors, including the military and intelligence agencies and militant groups, and the threat of violence contribute to the hostile operating environment for Pakistani journalists. As a journalist and member of the press, you have come to the United States. You are much more familiar with that hostile operating environment than I am. I'm sure it extends across the oceans and impacts your work here as well. The question becomes, what do you do about it? Especially being here in the United States in this era of fake news, which the president, who is certainly the most powerful purveyor of the fake news in this country, labels the real news inauthentic and those professional practitioners in the press as liars. What should you do? I say you must stand up and speak truth to the power, just as the courageous and honest members of the United States press are doing. There has never been a more important time for the need for truthful news than now at this crisis point in the 21st century. Those of you here in this room must be the message barriers and the critical commentators. Let me highlight why making this commitment is more essential today than it has been in a long time. President Trump used Twitter to send out the majority of the fake news. A study recently released by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology found that false story travels 6 times faster than the truth and reaches far more people. The true story almost never gets retweeted to 1,000 people, while the top 1% of false one got to as many as 100,000 people. This is a staggering difference. It puts the spotlight on the need for more truth. It demands that all those in truthful news business write more truth. By doing so, you will eliminate that gap that you can flood the Twitter waves with honesty to offset the torment of what I call twisted tweeters that are stifling the free press and our democracy. As a part of speaking with you tonight, I was asked to share some thoughts on why and what Pakistani American Press Association could do to provide a platform for Pakistani Americans to speak up, and how this association could help journalists in the profession to grow. I can do so with a little hesitancy, as I'm not a media expert. With that disclaimer, though, I do have a few personal ideas for your consideration. Set up letter to our voice of columns dedicated to an important topic a week on which Pakistani Americans can provide their opinions, observations, and recommendations. Build alliances and network among yourselves and do joint analysis and reporting on issues that matter. Do not be isolationist. Find ways to collaborate and participate with journalists from the United States and other countries stationed here in the United States. Develop stories that matter here in Pakistan and abroad to stories that will be of interest here in the United States. Establish mentoring programs for those who come here from Pakistan and do online educational and training programs for those journalists back home in Pakistan who are seeking professional development assistance. So these are my general ideas. Let me also make one specific request to all of you. That is that you members of Pakistani press should work with Indian media to promote convergence and commonality rather than sense of disagreement and divergence between India and Pakistan. I feel strongly that together with your Indian press people, you can play a leadership role in promoting conflict reduction and peace in your home region. At the outset of my remark, I commented that although I'm not of the press, I am for the press. I want to assure you those are not just the idle words. I am for the press in a big way. The free press matters in a free society. Last year, and again this year, my wife Debbie and I have sponsored fellowships to the Alfred Friendly Press Partners affiliated with the University of Missouri, the School of Journalism, to bring deserving journalists from India to the United States for classroom education to work in an American newsroom. I'd like to extend that to the Pakistani journalists as well, and I'm working with Amir Iqbal to make this happen. Finally, I have pledged $5,000 to this association to support your research. You might ask why I place such a strong emphasis on the freedom of press. It is because I understand that without a free press, there can be no real democracy. And if there's no democracy, the free world as we know it will cease to exist. From that perspective, let me close with a quote that is etched in the entry to the News Museum here in Washington, D.C. And that quote reads as follows: "The free press is the cornerstone of democracy. People have the need to know. Journalists have the right to tell. Finding the facts can be difficult. Reporting the story can be dangerous. Freedom includes the right to be outrageous. Responsibility includes the right to be fair. News is history in making. Journalists provide the first draft of history. A free press, at its very best, reveals the truth." It is my privilege to be here with you, Pakistani truth tellers. I'm here to praise the free press, not to bury it. There are no others in the other town who want to do the opposite. Time will tell how this story will fall and end. The fate of the American democracy and the democracy down the world hinge in the balance. I say to all of you, please do not stop asking the hard questions and writing the tough story. We need you more than ever. The free press is critical. The free press is critical to Pakistan and its citizens. The overriding motivations to the media is to separate the facts from fiction. In closing, you journalists here today, through your words, you can call us to action. Through your words, you can document our success and failures. Through your words, you can keep us keeping on. So thank you for spending this time with me. God bless each and all of you as you strive to do all that you can to strengthen our democratic ties.